Blog Talk Radio.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Sonny, your host, and it is always a wonderful Friday when it's Fantastic Fridays with Jazzie, Sterling, Powell, and Sonny on Louddmouth Radio. So in case you guys hadn't heard, we're on air and we're live. You guys can call in at 347-826-7520. And if you're somewhere where you can't dial in and you just want to listen in online, we have dropped our links on our social media pages. To make it easy for those who may not have direct access, you can go to blogtalkradio.com/loudmouthradio with 2 Ds. Make sure you put the 2 Ds in, all together, one word, with Loudmouth Radio, and you'll be able to pull us up while we're streaming. Today is February 22nd, 2019, and I must say it's a beautiful day in the metro Atlanta area. We've been having some rain on and off over the last week, and I'm sure everybody around has probably had the same experience as we had, where the weather's been all over the place, so we really don't know what we're dealing with or what we're doing, so we're just trying to do our best, right? I want to make sure I take this time out to recognize my beautiful host, Sterling Powell, who's in St. Petersburg, that's got our Florida market on lock, and Jazzie, she may be in and out a little bit today. She's been under the weather. Speaking of the weather conditions, it's affected her tremendously over the last week. So if she's up to it, I know she'll try to talk as much as she can. But I want to say good morning, Sterling, to you. How are you, sweetheart?
Can you hear me? I'm here. Good morning.
I can hear you, darling.
All right, darling. Everything's good. It's beautiful here. We got sun. It's sunny out here. Miss Sunny. It's gorgeous here in St. Pete, and you couldn't ask for any better weather.
I already know. I'm jealous right now. Well, I must say, we have some beautiful weather going on here, too. It's just that we don't have that beautiful beach right now to be looking at, okay?
Well, and it's the sunshine. I live in the Sunshine City, and that's what it is here, nice and sunny today.
I know, right? Well, I think that it is a wonderful day for us to have a conversation that has been floating and has had a tremendous amount of news coverage. I know that we touched on it briefly last week, but didn't really want to dive in it too heavy. And so today, definitely last week we talked about wanting to have this discussion, and it was important to have. And we actually have some guests that we've invited to be a part of the conversation as well. And I know that they're on air with us right now. So I will be introducing them in just a second. But what I would like to do as well, Sterling, I know that there's been a lot of different things that have been happening in your local news, and, there's a lot of other things that have been going on in the world, but sometimes some stories just seem to monopolize a lot of everybody's attention. So, of course, the Jazzie Smollett situation has been controlling a lot of the conversation in airwaves. And it's been challenging to have other things to have just as much attention in this same time and process. But we want to, stay true to what our Fantastic Fridays are. We love to hit our hot topics. We talk some politics. And even with this case, it deals with a current event of tapping into not only politics, but also, civil rights and, tapping into hate crime. So it is a very important conversation that I know that we need to have. So,
well, I believe Sonny, that it touches on everything right now. It touches on, like you said, not only racial issues, it touches on the LGBT community. It now, because, he accused the people of using the Make America Great Again slur. It's just everything is involved in this. And then, as usual, in America, celebrity. So this is a celebrity issue. And then one of the big problems that we know, that victims do not like to come forward and talk. And then so it touches on that issue. So you've got victims' rights, you've got LGBT rights, you've got black rights, and then you have the whole issue with our Make America Great. And so it's touching on so many different issues that there's no way to ignore it.
Exactly. And Sterling, before we even get deep, because I know we will, let me go ahead and introduce our special guests that are on air with us, and I'm going to just hit on a few things and they'll elaborate more on who they are and their platforms. But first, let me start off with Mr. Miko Evans, our brother in media, who I've just grown to adore for so many years. He is the CEO, founder of MEAK Productions. Meek, are you on air with us, honey? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
can anybody hear me?
How are you?
Hey, welcome. Welcome, you guys.
Hey, sweetie. Hey, Jazzie. Long time no see, honey. How y'all doing?
We're doing
how
great.
You doing?
And Sterling, this is Miko Sterling.
Miko, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing pretty good, Sterling. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's nice, and like I said, it's beautiful and sunny here in St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay, and life couldn't be any better, except for, like I said, what's going on in the outside world is the only thing that really sometimes dampens my world.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I want to also introduce Ms. Tracee McDaniel, who's also on air with us today. Tracee is also a very good friend of Jazzie and I, as well as Miko, an activist in her own right. Oh, my God, I don't even know if I have enough time to touch on all the things that, these two amazing individuals have been such an essential part of the LGBTQ community in the Metro Atlanta and beyond. And Tracee, I know we only have her for a small amount of time, so I want to definitely bring her to the platform and say good morning to Tracee and welcome to Louddmouth Radio. Can you hear us okay, Tracee?
Good morning, everybody. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Hey, Tracee.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Welcome,
Hi,
Tracee.
honey.
Fantastic Friday.
Yes.
Yes, fantastic
We
Friday.
get all wound up.
Now,
we're going to get you all wound up, Tracee.
Okay. Let's do it, honey. Let's do it.
All right, get some coffee.
Okay.
I need to get some coffee in that girl. Where's Miss Jazzie? We need to get some coffee in this girl.
Honey, she is in the coffee right now. Trust me when I tell you. I know she'll pop in and out, but y'all got to forgive my wife. She's been having some really bad bronchial problems, so we don't want her to have shortness of breath while we were on air. Last week, she almost choked to death on a fish bone. This week, she can't hardly breathe. So we just want you to pray for our Louddmouth Radio family, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah, we got to make sure that girl all right.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. So Tracee is a re-elected board member with the City of Atlanta's Police Citizen Review Board, and I'm so happy to see. It's maybe been not even 2 weeks, Tracee, since I think you posted the letter with them, reaffirming your position with the board.
Yes.
And if you would, Tracee, explain to our listeners the importance of the board and what it is that you're actually a part of, as being a part of that board seat.
Yes. In 2016, I was appointed by our former mayor, Tracee, to serve on the Atlanta Citizen Review Board, which is an oversight board that fields complaints from the community. Say, for instance, if you have a problem or a bad interaction with a law enforcement officer, the ACRB is where you would file the grievance. We have our own investigators. They go out and investigate, get all the information, bring all of that back to us in a report. We individually review the reports, and then we come back at our board meetings and vote on those reports if we're going to affirm what was found by the investigators or not, or suggest other alternatives. And I'm just excited about serving on the board, the first trans person to be appointed to the Citizen Review Board. And I just want to make sure that it's a better opportunity for the next person to come along. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited about having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all are. Sterling is learning about our special guest here.
So, Miss Tracee, now I understand because you're very serious. So I'll keep a little humor here, and you can still be serious on all the topics, okay?
Honey, just be yourself, honey.
Oh, honey, you haven't met Tracee. I was about to say.
Yes, it's early for me. It's 11 o'clock, honey, so it takes me a little bit, more time to rev up.
Miss Tracee, Sonny and Jazzie will tell you I wake up like this. I basically lay down for a couple minutes, and then I get right back up, and I'm going 190 miles an hour.
Well, honey, send me some of that energy, honey, because I can use it, definitely.
I'd be happy to. I've been trying to share it all my life with everybody.
Okay.
Well, honey, I tell you what, guys, I look forward to you guys meeting each other. There's a lot of powerful activists on this call right now, on this section with this radio show. And I'm very, very proud of being able to know you guys, to have friendships with you guys, and have that extension of family. And knowing that something like this topic that has been a heavy trend that has gone from, outrage to, speculations here and there. There's still not a clear conveyed space, I don't believe, that we're at. And, we all have at one point or another made contact with someone who's been, a victim of some sort, and to put, African-American male LGBTQ on top of it, it just makes it even more of a deeper core to where it becomes even more an important reason why we do need to talk about it, I guess I want to start with, I had to, the last probably 20 hours, just really start to really pay attention to the timeline, a lot of the things that were being reported, because initially I just did not know what to take from it, So it took me a minute to even take the time to get involved with the media coverage because it was coming so fast. And I think everyone here that's either had, and I know that Miko and Tracee both have had opportunities to meet Jazzie. There's an annual ball that's held here, the Gentlemen's Ball Foundation, that's held in Atlanta, and Jazzie's been not only a part of that ball, he's been a contributor to the foundation. He's been recognized for a lot of his work in philanthropic efforts and LGBTQ activism. And so we've seen him and interacted with him in different lights outside of his character on Empire, right? Miko, I think I want to ask you or Tracee, either one of you guys can go first, in regards to, your position of thought of where we are right now with this situation.
I would rather for Tracee to go first, because I would love to hear her perspective, especially her representing the trans community. I would actually like to hear from Tracee first, because I know I think last week or week before last on my weekly weekend Facebook Live shout-outs that I do, I had already released how I felt about the situation, but since the new developments had occurred, of course I have more to say. But I actually want to get Tracee's input on this, especially representing the trans community, and what does the trans community actually think about what's going on?
Miko, you're such a gentleman. Well, you know what? my thoughts. I sat and I watched the news yesterday, and I saw everyone speak, and then I saw Jazzie come out with his family and didn't speak. And my first thoughts were, I'm sad. I'm saddened for Jazzie. I'm saddened for his family, and I'm saddened because we've lost another positive image on television. I mean, I was shocked that this was made to find out that he set all this stuff up himself. And, you know, I've been a Jazzie fan, and I just can't stop being his fan because he made a mistake. I believe that we've all made mistakes that we regret. And just like a family member, you can't stop liking or loving that person just because they made a mistake. And you know, and my other thought is I hope that he gets whatever help that he needs, because clearly there's something going on. If he set all this up because he wanted more money, that's what his agents are for. I mean, I don't understand why he has to go to this extreme. Like Sterling mentioned earlier, we're dealing with the MEAK, and we're dealing with all of this stuff with people not believing victims and them not coming forward. So obviously there is something going on, and I just pray that he gets the help that he needs. And my thing is, hopefully at some point he'll be able to redeem himself in the future, because we've lost another activist, another advocate on the battlefield for our community, and it's such a loss for us. And my other thought is, let be without sin cast the first stone, you know. So.
Hey, can I go ahead and?
I don't think we've even. Oh, go ahead.
Sterling.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your point, baby. Sterling, go ahead, Sterling.
I was just going to agree with her. That's all. I mean, it's such a. It's.
I want to go ahead and kind of reiterate what I had mentioned on my Facebook Live broadcast, and I know I'm going to talk about it today when I do my broadcast later today. And from the very beginning, because I explained to people, I had a chance to meet Jazzie more than once. And I was very fortunate to meet him way before he even got the deal with Empire. I actually met him a year and a half before he actually got the deal, because we've been, because a lot of people don't realize, he's been doing activism for years, and he's also been an independent music artist as well. And he's done some acting in some small independent films. He's worked with the legendary director Patrick Powell, and so I had a chance to meet him for the first time in 2013 by way of Maurice Jamal. For those people that don't know Maurice Jamal, he's the famous actor, director, and writer of Dirty Laundry, and other independent projects that made history for our community, and in particular for the Black LGBTQ community. And so that's how I met Jazzie, then through Maurice Jamal when he was here in Atlanta for Mix Fest. And from that point on, all the way to the time he, blew up with Empire and everything, and I've had a chance to, see him afterwards, his character and his integrity has always been the same. It has always been consistent. He's never showcased any signs of narcissism, ego, conceitedness or anything. He's always been humble. He's always been down to earth. He's always been approachable. And so when I first heard about this, not just the attack itself, but when I heard that all of a sudden they started, accusing him of setting this whole thing up, my spirit, as they say, try the spirit by the spirit. And I was more disturbed at the way that people were reacting to this, because especially people of color, because my whole thing is, since when did we start trusting the police department? And I'm not just talking from a Black history ideology, because we've always known that when it comes to law enforcement, they have not had a good history in supporting Black lives. Because if that's the case, then Black Lives Matter would not be in existence today. And so that's one aspect. Another aspect is I'm also looking at the way LGBTQ people are responding to this. I'm like, okay, we also know how law enforcement and the government has treated LGBT lives as well. So
Exactly.
I'm just looking at this, and me having a chance to have experienced Jazzie in person more than once. And I'm looking at all of this. I'm like, first of all, this boy comes from a well-to-do family, one. Two, he's done so much in our community and stuff. It's like, when you look at it and when you see the way that the information is being presented, I'm also very concerned at how they're trying to rush this along as well. And Jazzie has, it is a known fact that Jazzie has been outspoken concerning Trump, how he feels about the current Trump administration. He's been very vocal about that. He's been he's been a strong activist, not just for the LGBTQ community, but for Black Lives Matter, for women's rights. And so it's a known fact that he's, a supporter for human rights. And so, and definitely doesn't, approve of the Trump administration. So when I look at the way that things are being done, when I look at, when you look at the, when you look at the court of public opinion, it's like, okay, this boy is already guilty before he's even been proven innocent. He hasn't really been officially been charged.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so
said the same thing.
And, I thought we lived in a country that justice is blind till proven guilty. Remember, justice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I get said he's already been tried and called guilty.
And so that's what, and so that's what I'm saying. Going back to what to piggyback what Tracee McDaniel was saying when she said, we've lost another good leader. I said to be even if he's found innocent of all of this, the fact is his reputation has already been destroyed. So, from what I'm saying, and I said I'm actually going to go there. I said we've witnessed another public lynching of one of our leaders. I'm just going to just come out and say it. I said, because I feel that Jazzie is being set up because I'm looking at, as they say, try the spirit by the spirit, which means, I remember one of the legendary rappers, KRS-One, said in a song, every time you see TV, just say that they lying to me. That's what they call it, television. And we can't always trust what's being presented to us, especially when it comes to the Chicago Police Department, when they have a track record of not doing right by the people.
So just out of curiosity, Miko, you said that you believe that Jazzie is being set up. Why would someone set him up? And, I don't understand. Why would someone go to this extreme? Because Jazzie, keep in mind, I've been following Jazzie's career, like that, prior to him getting the role on Empire. And I noticed that when Empire first came out and when Empire was going up and when the word got out that Jazzie, of course, they were getting ready to introduce a strong gay character and gay issues within this particular series, the first thing that I noticed was the homophobes, the religious right, and some of the so-called hoteps in the so-called Black conscious community. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I began to start noticing the backlash, the attacks that was coming toward, the particular role and all of that stuff. And so Jazzie has been getting hate messages and stuff like that since he actually got the role of Empire. And see, that's what people fail to forget, that this brother has been, he's been the target of a lot of hate mail, of a lot of, a situation and stuff like that, since the very beginning. So I wouldn't be surprised that, because of the welcoming spirit that Jazzie has, because, Jazzie is one of those type of people that nobody is really a stranger. And so I wouldn't be surprised that, it's probably somebody that's close to him, somebody he's probably trusted. That, because, you can be, it's amazing how, what people will do when they're jealous of you, when they're envious of you, and you may not even know it. And so,
That's true.
And then looking at the fact that we're living up under the Trump administration, and how Trump got in office, he used a lot of discriminative and bigoted language, which in turn gave a lot of ammunition to the hate mongers, to the bigots, and to people that's in our country. It's like they're coming out in droves now. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because now, as I'm reading right now, somebody just posted that, this latest news with the Justice Smollett case, that the Fed are disputing what the police superintendent is saying, that they said they're not certain that Jazzie wrote the letters.
Wow.
Now, the Feds are saying this. And so that right there should let people know. Go ahead.
As far as what you said, the damage has been done, Tanika. Like you said, it doesn't matter what's going to come out of this. The damage, and Sonny, you were saying who's going to benefit from this is because of the damage to his reputation. We, as a community, have lost an advocate, a strong advocate that has a celebrity with him. He has he has a platform. So what happened here is, here we lost an advocate that was not only fighting for us on many platforms, is that's who would be attacking him, is somebody like Trump. It may be on him directly, but it could be like anybody around that wants to knock out somebody in our community so that we don't have that champion.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Because I'm glad you said that in the way you did, Sterling, because one of the things that I was in another panel discussion here in Atlanta with the Metro Atlanta Association of Professionals, and we had a discussion about community issues, and one of the things that I brought up is that the biggest mistake that the LGBTQ community made was we got too comfortable right after marriage equality became the law of the land, because many of us, especially those of us in the mainstream, those LGBT people that's in mainstream, I said what has happened is that, because I think this is also the same mistake that many people from the civil rights community made. It's like once we got the rights, we thought that everything was okay, not realizing I said, the battle had just begun.
Well, honey, you're preaching to the choir, honey, as far as trans people are concerned. I've been saying that forever. Let's not get complacent.
Absolutely.
Let's not get too comfortable, because there are still people out there who want to murder us, who will shoot us in our faces if they had the opportunity to do so. So,
in our own community, like you said, it could be somebody that he has offended, that is a gay person in his own entourage. We know that he's a celebrity. So you know that he has an entourage, whether he claims it or not. There's people around him. And those people that are normally around you are some of the most jealous people. They want a lot often. Remember, don't forget, remember the whole thing with the bodyguard. Who did it end up being in that story? It was her sister.
Absolutely.
Because it often happens that the celebrity's closest person can be the rat.
Well,
absolutely.
I'm a fan of. I'm sorry, go ahead, Miko. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Because I want to piggyback with something that Tracee was saying concerning my most recent point, that when we look at, once again, I think, that's why I was very disturbed at how many members of the LGBTQ community was responding, because it's like, okay, since when did we start trusting what the police department tells us? You know what I'm saying? Because, and let me give you a perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Yes, we like here in Atlanta, we have LGBT people, we have an LGBT task force, we have people like you, Tracee, that's, are involved with certain aspects of the city government and stuff to make sure that there's sensitivity training, that people are aware of LGBT issues, and particularly trans issues. But catch this, T. September of this year will mark the 10-year anniversary of the Atlanta Eagle raid. Now, mind you now, this raid happened with an LGBT liaison. Not a liaisons.
No, the liaison wasn't there. The liaison wasn't there. The liaison didn't know about the raid until after the fact.
But the thing that's my point.
Didn't we just,
my point is,
we just at a point of Stonewall too? Stonewall, Sterling, was just the anniversary, a week or two ago?
And then Stonewall, I think the anniversary of Stonewall is coming in June.
In June.
Stonewall's anniversary is in June. Now, to be in consciousness. Yeah, to be in consciousness with what Tracee said. I'm not talking about that whether the liaisons knew about it or not. I'm talking about the fact that we still have liaisons in office, and the fact that even when we have LGBT people that's already in place to try to protect us from something like this or to bring this to attention, the fact that they was not even called, the fact that they didn't even know about it, should still put us in the community on alert to let us know, hey, many people in our government still can't be trusted because we still have bigots that are still in office. We still have people who discriminate against our community, both when it comes to gender, when it comes to sexuality, and when it comes to race. They're still in office. So that right there should tell us as a community, hell no, we're not going to trust the first thing that comes out your mouth, a police superintendent. Hell no, we're not going to trust the first thing that comes out your mouth. And let me give you another example. The minute that Trump got in office, that's why I was very shocked that you had these members of our community like these gays for Trump. And the minute that Trump got in office, the first thing he did was come against trans officers in the military.
Well, that's why we can't believe everything everybody says, because a lot of people have lip service, and it's all about the actions and the work that you've done before and after.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of people, they come and they outreach to our community at the time because they want our vote or our support. But then what are you doing after that? So, and
absolutely.
Okay, guys, sorry, Tracee, I didn't want to break you off right there real quick. I want to also take a moment real quickly, guys. We have another person that is also on the time-sensitive schedule, and she has been on the call listening in. I want to have anybody, I know we have a few people that are listening, and I just want to remind you, if you want to be a part of the conversation, hit the 1 on your keypad. I'll be able to see you on the switchboard or be able to bring you in on live. But, Jazzie, I know you wanted to go ahead and introduce our other special guest.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to briefly be able to speak to you because I have been coughing in between conversations, enjoying everything that has been said. So, hi, Miko. Hi, Tracee. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Jazzie.
Hey, Jazzie.
Hey, Sterling. You know, I can't get too excited or I'll start coughing all over the show, but I wanted to I have a little bit that I wanted to say about it, but I'm glad that we have the people that we have on this call because it is such a difference in conversation. Though we may all agree on some things, I'm so proud that we're able to come, as they say, as the scripture would say, come and let us reason together. We may not all agree, but we are able to reason and try to find out to the best of our media abilities and in our own positions that we're in a place where we can all talk about it. But I wanted to bring a licensed clinical therapist and social worker, Magaret Conley, on so that she'll be able to talk a lot of what we have been looking at in the media and just even thinking is if this is to be true, because he's still innocent until guilty. It looks very bleak,
Absolutely.
But he's still innocent until guilty. But if he is guilty, we want to talk from a perspective of what is the mental behavior and the possibility of it, and also in the Black and Hispanic predominantly our communities, we're not able to always talk about mental illness in a way where we can address it and work through it. So we wanted to have Magaret come on. I know she's been in a lot of meetings, but she was able to kind of steal away to come on the line. So, Magaret, if you're with us, come on in and chime in, and let's have a conversation.
Hi, everyone.
Magaret, are you with us? Hey, Magaret.
I am. Hey, how are you doing, Tracee? Hey, everybody. I am with you all, Jazzie. I'm right here. So thank you for this invite, and thank you for the opportunity to join in this collaborative conversation. Hey, Sonny. Hey, everybody. I think I know everybody on the call.
Miko, everybody. And if y'all don't know me, if you haven't seen me, I kind of lay low. I try to lay low sometimes when I'm in public spaces because I'm just trying to be present. But today I'm thankful for the opportunity for us to come. And I think the one thing when I do shows with people and we do collaborative conversation, my prayer is that we also leave with a collaborative idea and a charge to move forward and connect people of influence to people of influence so that this won't happen in our personal communities and happen in our spaces of home space, and so that it will spread. Maybe this message will spread in a positive light, even to maybe hit Jazzie himself, wherever he may be in Chicago. So, because I know he's funded out from my understanding. So, maybe he can see that not only is he an ally for our community, and he's a name for our community, but we too embrace him and hold him in space as well through whatever happened, because we really don't have all the facts. We have what CNN or Fox News or MSN is producing for us, right? So the question, that Jazzie asked me about was, what does, what does this look like in this mental health space? And I want to just honor Jazzie in that she's done work with mental health as well. So if I say something crazy, correct me. But hopefully I got my mind right. My mind right today. So the first question I asked when this happened. So the first question I asked when this happened was, how has trauma affected him to the point that it had to get to this allegation? If he did or if he did not, something happened to where this allegation is kind of holding weight. And so, what was the traumatic experience for him that led to this level of action? And so some people are like, well, how is this action? It's crazy. He lied. We don't know if he lied or not. Again, there's no proof. I appreciate Jazzie for saying we don't have proof. He hasn't been proven guilty in the United States of America. They're going to have to literally find the truth, prove the truth, and then we can hold fact to whatever truth they may find and prove. So exactly. They have to go through that in the judicial system. So he gets a right to a fair and speedy trial. But in that, our community loves to give out a dirty, nasty trial before before we have a real trial. So what trauma happened to him that made this have to go where it is? And what part of that trauma is he reliving right now? Looking at his facial expressions, looking at even the pictures, he has a very blank face. And so my next question is there any personality issues that's happening for him? Like, does he have any, personality problems or personality traits that are popping out that may be genetic, that this is just not kicking in? Has he been triggered? Jazzie is not that old, and maybe it's something, they got triggered and we didn't know about. Maybe he had a late break and he's been able to cover it up because he has been successful in public. Or has he been using those personality challenges? Has he been using those pieces of his identity to become a great actor? So I like Jazzie, so I actually listened to his album. Some of his album even was a cry out. Did we pay attention to that? Did we even support him musically outside of Empire? To listen to some of the music where he's crying out. There's one particular song where he talks about just being himself, and it was something that for me was kind of weird because I'm like, well, people, they accept you for who you are. But he clearly in his song didn't think that at all. And so was he trying to show what piece of him?
And you know what, Margaret?
So that's what
Margaret, you have you're making a very valid point. I was looking at a lot of the information too online about the accusations about him not being happy about his career, his money that he's earning, and then there was even a mention about his music and his albums not being as successful. And not having the following that he wanted musically, and you don't really know how much of that you want to grasp and hold on to, because he is an independent artist. And now, I know that I feel the Empire has been a big contributor to help him musically to get more exposure because he's extremely talented.
Yeah.
Ayanna Vincent, I think I just saw this interview, and I'm gonna try to load it in. so that I can play it so that everybody can hear it. I think it was a great example of, like Miko said, the public opinion has taken over. Social media is going to do that. And, even when the police chief held his press conference and he spoke about, from his perspective about hate crimes and that, he said that we gave this case the same equivalent amount of attention that we do all our other cases. And he said to the media, you guys made it more than what we did, which is true. The media exploits out more.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why now.
Don't forget where you were saying. Don't forget we're in America. We're dealing with celebrity. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have a president that is basically considered a celebrity. We have lived in the age of fame for so long that we forget that this country is obsessed with its celebrity. So when they say that they gave it the same attention, they knew immediately that this man is a celebrity. They knew that. When they asked for his phone, there is no way. I am a personality in the Tampa Bay area. Let me tell you, there is no way that I would want to turn my phone over to any police officer. There is no way. I don't think that Jazzie should want to turn his phone over. There's just no way I would want to immediately turn my phone.
I am in complete consciousness with everything you just said because people within the community were telling us, well, why he didn't just turn over his phone? First of all, what does my phone got to do with me being jumped on? I said, let's look at the many cases that, or when we look at how many trans lives have been lost and how many trans people have been jumped on, or other LGBT people growing up have been bullied. And I'm like, what does their phone got to do with it? You know what I'm saying?
No way that my private
but coming from a forensic social worker background, I have to agree with the chief. So what happens is that they go through the phone to see if it was some level of somebody tried to attack him and he didn't pay attention. So it wasn't to attack him. On the other hand, I can see the other side being in private practice is, oh my God, I can't give you my phone. I got too much stuff in here. Like, no, I don't want you to, because we don't trust our judicial system. And because America, I love what was just said. Like, America has lived in this space for so long that it felt kind of safe, and then it just erupted into unsafe, places that's not safe, period. That's how I understood that. So trans people cannot go anywhere without worrying about their lives. LGBT communities that are out cannot go anywhere. And I have to say, people of color, period, can't go anywhere without some worry about what is going to happen to me when I walk outside. We literally have safe zones. I mean, I think every day we're playing a Russian roulette version of hide and go seek. Like, I got to find my safe spot.
True that. You're right.
Because I'm going to die.
When Nika, where you said that this is a public lynching, this is exactly that. I totally agree with that. That is what's, to me, that they've cross-examined, claimed he's guilty. They are not going to, and they've destroyed the most important thing here, they've destroyed his reputation. That's the number one thing that's already been done is his reputation has been destroyed. He is no longer going to be the advocate that we had as a champion, like I said, that he was 3 months ago. He's not going to be there.
Yeah, well, my thing is that if all of this is true, if any of this is true, that Jazzie set any of this up or had anything to do with any of this, he destroyed his own reputation by doing what he did, if that's the case. And I just wanted to say, like I was going to say it earlier, because from my experience, yes, we have some bad law enforcement. We have some bad characters. However, from some of the law enforcement, some of the officers that I've dealt with, I've personally known over the years, not all of them are bad, and I just don't want people to just lump all law enforcement, regardless of what level they're on, in with the bad apple. Because there are some who are out there honestly trying to do the work, trying to make sure that we all receive the protections that they're able to give, and then there are some that, out of control officers who just do what they want to do. So, but I hope that he didn't have anything to do with this.
I totally
the sad
agree.
part about the sad part about because Tracee, I concur with what you're saying. That the sad part though is it's unfortunate that it's the majority because we live in a system where everything is when we talk about, for example, when we talk about racism and discrimination, many people fail to forget that we're talking about systematic. You see what I'm saying? And even when I look at the fact that to confirm and to be in solidarity with what you just said, Tracee, to the officers who we know that are out there that are doing their job, it's unfortunate that many of them are few in between because they're not even getting the support that they need because there are so many officers that have come out to tell the truth about the corruption that's going on in our system. Many of them are not getting the support that they deserve, and many of them are also targeted.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying? So
within their department for being who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, because we're talking about it, but there's healing that needs to happen across communities.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes even in our communities, the microaggressions that lead us to be disjointed. So even for trans people, I know people are part of LGBT that absolutely come against trans. Like they don't support an issue. It's hardcore. Like you have a lot of people who sit in spaces like Jazzie. Like Jazzie could pass. I mean, like, in the 60s, people who were of lighter hue were passing in other places. So here we are in the LGBT community with people who pass. I mean, you got people who don't want to claim who they are, be who they are, be outspoken about who they are, period, because it will affect and infect things that they do, and we label them as heroes, even though they're not there. I don't know if Jazzie really did sit in a space to be the hero and advocate for us, because if he did do this, absolutely he would have thought, because he's not that young either, he's like a year younger than me, that this would be a setback for all the moves that people ahead of me and who are in my generation are pushing and forging. Like, absolutely a setback. It was a stereotypical thing that someone would do to a member of our community. Like, this had to be a setback for people to stand against, speak against, and say, well, look at what they're doing to themselves. And so what do we do with our community is now in the center of this pain, though. We are in the center of his pain. We are in the center of it, arguing with each other about did he do it or did he not, versus what healing do we need to bring to our areas that we can manage, because Jazzie, if we paid attention to him, like I said, his album literally has, like, insecurities, hurt people. There's another song on there, like, it's kind of saying I do risky behavior so I can get over my pain. I mean, who else is sitting in our community that's not an Empire Star or on Power or on the other show that I think Lee Daniels did that's not famous, that's hurting like this, that we can start to focus on?
Hi, everyone. This is Jazzie. Let me chime in just really briefly. If you are listening to our show and you want to talk and you want to make a comment, please press the number 1. If you want to share this program, we're on louddmouthradio.com, on Blog Talk Radio. You'll be able to find us and just mash the button on Louddmouth Radio, and you'll be able to hear our feeds live. But also, if you want to share this so that other people can have an opportunity to chime in, it's 347-826-7520. I do know we have some sponsors that we do have to come in and pay the bills, because this is why we're able to continue to stay on the show. And we also have a winner of the Renaissance tickets in Tampa Bay area that our sponsor works with Sterling, our host there in the Tampa Bay area. We're going to give out on the show today. But I do also want to make a comment about, really quickly, about the rich, the poor, the famous, the non-famous, and the balance, right? A lot of times we hear, and I know we just had a dear friend of ours post how he was attacked. John Wesley, we're calling you out today. We love you. We support you. We've been going through some transitions on a personal level, so we haven't been able to connect as much as we wanted to in these last 6 months. But he was attacked brutally here in at the Atlanta, Georgia area, brutally. Mind you, people assumed that he was of the LGBT community and just assumed he was a gay man. And John Wesley, I love him because he's like, I don't talk about what I am not, what I do or what I don't do. One, I don't know you, and two, if none of you are fair, who or what I am. So he is a fantastic host of his own talk radio. He's just a phenomenal person, but he was attacked because 3 men thought he was gay, and they almost killed him, okay? And so John Wesley is very hurt, as many people are, and I see this statement all the time. If we were concentrated on people around us as much as we are concentrated on this famous person, more people would be helped, so forth and so on. But here's my thing, and years ago I did a missionary and evangelist class years ago, and we were talking about how we have to be very careful about not loving the rich and not loving the famous because they're rich and because they're famous. It's just the same discrimination as if we were poor and we were unfamous, meaning it's equally as important for me to be concerned about Jazzie as it is about John Wesley. The two of them should not have to be in competition for my care and my concern, right? What it should be is at all times within my own individual power and then collectively coming together in an activist way. How can we, as Magaret said, how can we begin the healing process so this does not happen to the rich or the poor or the famous or the unfamous? How can we have real and true conversations? And how can I, Jazzie, who has a mental illness and lives with it every day, how can I say, right now, I'm feeling a whole lot crappy. I'm feeling suicidal. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling unloved. I'm feeling uncared for. I don't know how to focus. Whatever that emotional moment, that trigger, that whatever it is, how can I say that and get the attention? Because, see, we have a problem when people, they just want attention. We all want attention. But it's how we get the attention, and it is what kind of attention we actually need. If I'm hurting, I need to be attended to, meaning I need attention, right? But who is it that I need it from? How do I need to handle it? How can I have an avenue and a platform to say, I need some attention because I'm hurting. I need some attention because I feel less than because of, or whatever the scenario is. So I think 1, 2, and 3, we need to be very careful about not feeling the right to care about Jazzie, but also not feeling like I can't care about my neighbor next door or my friend down the street. We have to balance it out. If we're going to say we're activists, we're activists. The other quick thing is, if I am the activist for, let's say you all know I am an activist in really eradicating homelessness and sex trafficking, those two, and mental illness, those 3 are like huge to me. Why? Because they've all affected my life in some way, either directly and or people I've known, family members or whomever. So those are my passions. Those are my strong passions. You'll hear me talk about it to the degree that I've been told, okay, Jazzie, there are other things in life that goes on in the world. But if I am that advocate for those things, right, and I'm going out on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever, however often I can to make an impact in those areas, I am not the face of that for every single black woman from North Carolina, lived in Atlanta, traveled to Hawaii. See, when we start getting specific saying he is our representative, she is our representative, what we're actually saying is that they are the only, or a lot of times we make them the only person that can represent me. That's not so. They are an advocate for that thing because they were passionate about it. You want to get as many people as involved in the things that you're passionate about, of course. But I cannot represent every black woman. One, I don't know every black woman.
Speak, honey.
I don't. I can represent to the best of my ability my passion in this moment, whenever I can, wherever I am, because it is truly my passion. So we have to be really, really cautious, in my opinion, to say he was our advocate, he did all of this, and he was the face of the LGBT community. He is a face of the LGBT community.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And I agree that we have, and mind you, I'm still emotionally kind of messed up about this whole thing. Y'all don't know, this is the first time I've really been able to talk about it because it's just hurt me in so many different areas. And I'm not claiming he's guilty, and guess what? I'm not also claiming that he's not guilty. I'm simply saying I am waiting for all details to come out to know how to better manage my emotions about it. But if he is an advocate about anything, the advocacy is not going to stop if he's passionate about it. He has been tarnished at this moment, but y'all already know. If you talked about me 2 years ago, you done already halfway forgot about what you talked about because there's some new stuff to talk about. So it'll blow over, and he will rebuild if whatever he has represented has been his truth. It will not stop. It's going to take another something else to come along. But right now, again, he is innocent until he's proven guilty. That's my statement on that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Louddmouth Radio Network. Insurance Associates Atlanta, formerly Mathis Insurance Services, is an independent agency offering personal, commercial, life, and health insurance products to meet the needs of your business and your family. We specialize in helping you protect all of your assets, whether you're purchasing insurance for the first time or searching for better products at a better price. Feel free to contact us at 770-483-0310. We're conveniently located at 1030 Remington Drive in Conyers, Georgia. Visit us online at insurance-iaa.com. You're listening to the Louddmouth Radio Network.
Ladies, are you looking for the next best find? Donche Shoutique will bring out your inner glam. The lady herself, Miss Donche, is dedicated to providing you with the latest in hot Atlanta fashion footwear. It'll make you stand out at every event. In addition to our amazing prices, we are the go-to source for high fashion footwear. So stop by and shop online. We're sure to have the right shoes for you. www.donshe-shoes.com. That's www.donshe-shoes.com. Donche's is the only place you can go to still be sane and have a sure side.
Recent auto accident, back pain, neck pain, stress, headaches? Ewing Chiropractic can help. Here at Ewing Chiropractic, our office utilizes an approach of pain relief measures for the treatment of auto accidents, slip and fall, sports, and on-the-job injuries, as well as acute and chronic pain. We can be reached at 678-586-3592 and located at 5459 North Henry Boulevard, DC in Stockbridge, Georgia. Healing the injured one spine at a time. We can be reached at ewingchiropractic.com. You're listening to the Louddmouth Radio Network.
All right, so guys, we just came back from a quick commercial break and was having a great conversation before the intermission break there. Tracee, I wanted to get whatever your thoughts are as we conclude, because I know you're going to be getting off of the call in just a little bit. Am I right?
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm a fan of Jazzie's, and whatever happens, you know, I hope that at some point he's able to redeem himself and he can come back and do the work that he was doing that's positive for our community. And like I think it was Magaret, I'm going to hold off until all the information, and then I'll figure out how I can move forward as far as dealing with how I feel about the situation. Because personally, I feel like it's a loss. It's the loss of a member of the family. So I understand. It's like an experience in a death. You know, even though he's very much still present, he's still very much, still in this active role. He went back on set yesterday after he was bailed out, and so we just, we're in this waiting period, and I think that what you're saying has a lot of validation about where a lot of people are. People are kind of all over the place because a lot of the information has been all over the place, and I do believe that's going to probably affect his case because things will leak so continuously. It's hard to filter through a lot of the information that has been put forth. But Tracee, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation today and just being who you are as an advocate. Thank y'all for having me, and thank y'all, everyone else. Looking forward to meeting everyone at some point. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye, Tracee. Love you, hon.
Love you
Bye.
back.
Thank you, darling. Love you too. We have a caller. Okay, we have a caller. Caller, can you tell us your name and where you're calling from?
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Jazzie.
Hello. Do we have him on the air?
I do believe
Is
so.
this the winner?
I have a.
Miko is still here.
Miko, you there?
Okay. Maybe they'll call back.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, well, Margaret, I know that you're in meetings. Margaret is in meetings as well, so we wanted to get her to close.
I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here, but I do have to. Yeah, but I am going to have to go shortly.
Okay.
And I
didn't know if you wanted to make another statement about.
Oh no, I do want to say this because somebody just said he's still present, and that's another mental health piece. Because in most communities, you're not thinking about mental health all the time, but I don't know if he's really present, or is he an autopilot? Again, going back to our communities where we become numb, and so we begin to forget the things that really keep our community afloat, keep it present. Is he really present, or is he just in a blank space of I'm just trying to stay up? Because again,
I can imagine.
And
yeah,
I don't
Margaret,
know
you have a point. I mean, right. I was gonna say for him to go going through all of this stuff, it would. Anybody with a normal person would just want to check out. If everything is as it seems, he's gone from a victim to now having to defend himself and now being arrested, public shame. That's a lot. His career's at stake.
Yeah.
His following and everything that he stood for is going to be questioned.
Well, I want to actually give. My mom just gave me the latest report. I just went to CNN.com, and it had just been reported that Jazzie's character is being cut from the last two episodes of this season's Empire. And the reason why they're doing that is to avoid any disruption on the set. It's because of this situation that and because they don't want no more disruptions on the set. Because of course now that he's out on bail, the media and the cameras will be trying to, and paparazzi will be trying to hound him and follow him for probably from this day till he goes back to court in March. But I wanted to give that latest update because I'm reading the CNN right now because I think he was supposed to finish out the season, but I think due to the disruption that this case is causing, they are not going to have him for the last two episodes. He's going to finish out the majority of them, but I think the season finale, he won't be his character will be cut from the season finale. So I wanted to give that report. But I also wanted to piggyback with what Magaret was talking about. Magaret was giving her, when we look at mental health, her analogy had what she just described actually came from, okay, if he did get it, this is the mental state that, will be present. But I'm also looking at the fact that, okay, if he's innocent, his mental state is still going to be messed up because
affected.
It's still going to be affected because it's like, okay, I'm innocent and this is how I'm being treated. I'm innocent and looking at all of the work that I've done, for my people, for the community, this is how I'm being treated. So, I mean, as the late Stan Lee said, with great power comes great responsibility. And a lot of people, and I know Jazzie picked up on this too, a lot of people don't realize being in a leadership position, whether you are a celebrity, whether you're a community activist, whether you're a pastor, whether you're CEO of a business like myself, like you, Sonny, and other people, that's a lot of responsibility. And a lot of people don't know what people in leadership go through on a day-by-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Being in a leadership position, period, is wear and tear on not just on the body, but it's wear and tear on the mind, it's wear and tear on the emotions, and so that's why it's very important for us to make sure that we have people around us that can hold us up, that we have people around us that can keep us, that we can go to, to talk to, that we can go to, to work, things out when we have struggles and when we have challenges. And so, so I'm looking at things from both sides. I'm looking at his mental state, okay, if he did do it. And then I'm also looking at what his mental state will be, even though he's innocent, he's having to prove his innocence. Because even after this situation that I just reported, he's still standing by the fact that he's innocent and he did not, fabricate any of this. He's still standing by that. So, I think that, once again, like I said, I'm more hurt at the way people are responding. Some of it I understand, but overall, it's like, the public court has already, proven him guilty when it's supposed to be the other way around. You innocent until proven guilty. So, like I said, I still stand with Jazzie until all of the information has been presented and until, the court decision has been made and been finalized. I'm still in solidarity with him. And like I said, because of his character, because of the many times that I've experienced his character doesn't speak to me like he would do something like this. And as a performing artist, singer-songwriter, producer myself, when we write songs and or when we perform songs, many of these songs are not always talking about our current state. It might have talked about a previous situation. You know what I'm saying? This is what I went through back in the day. This is where I'm at now. Or in many cases, many singers and performers, when they sing songs, they may tell a story, of somebody else that they know they're going through something. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a personal situation. So I wanted to bring that into the forefront as well. But, this, whether you're in solidarity with Jazzie or not, it still hurts. Because once again, nobody wants to see any of our leaders. And the reason why this is really a blow, not just to the fact that he's black and gay, but keep in mind, in the black community, we still already have many of our leaders that are being targeted, that has been targeted. Many of them are on a personal life that made mistakes that have been tried. We just got through dealing with the Bill Cosby situation. Now we got the issue with Robert. You know what I'm saying?
With Robert Kelly. Yes.
Yeah, with Robert. So there's a difference between Robert Kelly and R. Kelly. R. Kelly is the star. Robert is the human being. That's the real person. So we are still dealing with that issue, and then it's just really, when we look at how our black leaders overall are being targeted. It's and then with the attacks that's still coming towards us on the LGBTQ front, that is, it's a lot to take.
Yeah,
it's a lot to take.
It definitely is. It's like we started this whole conversation out when Sterling was saying it is on. So you and Sterling both were saying it's just so many levels of where you can find a space to emotionally identify. It's really heavy. And it's a time. I'm so glad we're having a conversation, but it's also a meditative space. It's a praying space. It's an energy space that we all have to kind of just stand in this one light and go, okay, what do we see? Because we can't do anything about his personal experience. We can only do what we're doing from a media perspective and all of our titles. And from a therapeutic position, we could talk about it, but it's not us per se. But we all can find spaces where we have either had this experience happen, a similar experience, or we can see people that we've known that have been in these positions. And so we really kind of have to say, what do we do now? And how do we, and it's a continuation. It's just so much. The climate is so much where we are constantly saying, what do we do now? How do we do better? How can we, find our spaces where we can make the greatest impact, not only in our own lives, because really that's where it starts, but then after our own lives are in check, after we sat down with our therapists, after we've made the connections that, hey, it's the things that we need to get in line and fix, so that we can be a better impact for our community. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. The mass media, I can say our media platform, I know Miko is our brother in media. Miko's media platform, Magaret is even doing her podcast, and so she's now becoming part of this media circuit. I can say from our level, we don't do emotional, fake excitement news. You understand? We don't do breaking now if it's not a breaking now. We bring to our audiences information so that you can make conscious decisions about what to do with that information. We're not throwing stuff out, oh, yeah, she had a baby with so-and-so. We don't do and it's no shade on her per se, but we don't do the Wendy Williams kind of shows. We're not looking for
God only knows I want
about. I know, but Sterling, I was just going to say now, Sterling will bring you the tea, though. I was getting ready to say that. But we do it. But so you have entertainment gossip in the sense that we bring you some fun, some jovial, some laughter, some comedy because, it's still entertainment. But we don't do things viciously. Sterling, is what I'm saying. You're not a vicious
host. If we mention celebrity news, it normally has to do with that last line, news. We're bringing it into talk radio, where just like this issue, where I said, you can't be, there's no one that can be ignored by this. Black, white, straight, gay, brown. There's nobody that can get away from this case. This touches on everything in our society right now, and it's because of the times we live in that it is taking attention. And I love that we talk about I'm not saying that I don't trust police officers, but it's a blanket statement. I don't trust every police officer, and that there's all bad. But what we were talking about when we're saying that we didn't feel for him to turn over the phone or to be a little mistrusting of the force, it's the same thing. That it's a double standard. They're not believing him, so why should we believe them? Because of the history. Because of the history,
Absolutely.
we know we can look back. We can look back and know that they've done things that have caused, have caused us to distrust them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And
absolutely. And absolutely.
And also recognize we're at a height. I'm sorry, I was going to say this real quick, Miko, and then you can go ahead. Also realize that we're at an unprecedented amount of time where there's so many people coming in for presidency. We are getting ready to go into a new election cycle. You know what I mean? There's a lot of systematic things that are happening. And it's one of those things that it didn't help that there was a lot of Make America Great implication in the situation. you know, different people that on the campaign trail like Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, and different people responded in regards to the initial allegations. And so, you know, like a lot of the news broadcasts, like especially like some stuff like Fox stations, you kind of got to make a decision how much of that you want to take in, you know. But interesting enough, this show sits on a Fox. It's a Fox-generated show. The ties to this, I think, is so. Like, one of the other things that I also thought was very interesting was that his initial counsel was an attorney that was the attorney for Trump's person, Michael Cohen, initially. And then he dropped that guy. You know what I'm saying? And you think about it, Empire is a Fox network show. So there's so many. Yeah, it's like it's almost like an internal struggle of things. If that makes sense. You know, it's like politically.
And that's one of the reasons why.
Miko, can anybody tell me if I'm correct in my information? Is from what I understand, he turned himself in, the press conference happened, and then is it correct that he had gone back to the set of Empire, and Empire standing behind him still, the producers? Because somewhere I saw that
they were.
Well, based off of what I and CNN, I'm looking at CNN Entertainment, and like I said, they just announced the producers behind Fox's Empire have decided to remove actor Jesse Smollett's character from the final 2 episodes of the current season following his arrest this week. The decision, producers said, was made to quote avoid further disruption on the set. So that they're not saying, they say that the events of the past weeks have been incredibly emotional for all of us. Jesse has been an important member of our Empire family for the past 5 years, and we care about him deeply. While these allegations are very disturbing, we are placing our trust in the legal system as the process plays out. And, of course, the statement was signed by Empire producers Lee Daniels, Danny Strong, and showrunner Brett Mahoney. So they're saying that Empire is in the midst of filming its 5th season finale in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Here's the reason why Just Report's probably even in Chicago to begin with. Because they was getting ready to film the finale.
I know, exactly. Magaret, I know she's getting ready to make her exit. Magaret, do you want to go ahead and give your last statements and go ahead and finish up?
I do. And I think I'm going to speak about 3 things. The first was just what we just mentioned. Again, this is a business thing. Lee Daniels and other producers and Fox, like, they probably love him. They love him in his space. Again, they also have to understand this. So this is where mental health for me.
Oh, Magaret, wherever you move to, honey, it's breaking you up a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, so mental health for me in this space is really big because sometimes, and I don't think anybody on this call is doing it, but we want to judge the people that people work for. But they have to remember, not only can they be in a personal space with him, love on him and say, why did this have to happen, what happened, and get, his statements, and they keep them private. But they also have to continue to save face for the overall whole and who's working there. And, people need to keep food on the table. And so how do we manage that in celebrity community? Because, again, Fox has been under a lot of issues this year with their very owner. So what do you do when it's already a lot going on, it's a lot riding on it, and you have mouths to feed, and it's a responsibility? Well, then we have to cut that which is infected right now. We have to suture that up because it's bleeding out, which means we might have to remove until he heals. So what do you do in professional celebrity light of healing? Because this trauma isn't just like when he initially got hurt, it was still traumatic for those individuals. It was still traumatic for the people he worked with. And now it's traumatic that now we're on the other end of it. So what does that look like? How does that feel? And then what do we do for our community where we actually have a way to touch and be in space? Even for my company, I'm willing to offer, sessions of people have to work through that. I did that even when the Robert Kelly story broke, and I agree with how that was said. R. Kelly is a celebrity. Robert Kelly is hurting. and the actions of Robert Kelly attached to the celebrity of R. Kelly damaged our community because we are depending on you to provide us with some type of solace via your music and your celebrity. Whether you tell us we can grind on somebody or tell us how we can love the Lord with your gospel album, we still leaned on Robert Kelly to be that support for us in times when we were going through. I mean, it's the same thing when we look back at civil rights. Like, we put a lot of weight on the King family, but we forgot the King was a man. So when all the stuff started coming out, J. Edgar Hoover started following him, people had stuff to say, but Martin Luther King Jr. and his celebrity was someone we depended on. But Marty at his house was who people knew. How was help and how was that emotional wellness provided? And so it's the same thing. I think somebody said it earlier. It's the same thing that has traveled, and now it's become a generational issue that we don't know how to finish out our healing. Once we get a touch of it, we don't know how to finish out our medicine. And our community,
we're still dealing with
the black community overall, we don't finish out our medicine, and what we have left over, we give to somebody else. It might not be what they need. We need to finish out our healing. So I just leave that with people. You know, how do we finish out our healing? And for those who have not started in our community, whether we're looking at Orlando, whether we're looking at, you know, the massacre in Texas with transgender, whether we're looking at the overall community of people that love music from Vegas, everybody got hurt, or whether we're going and we're looking at how children have got killed and we're moving all the way down, start healing the community and how can we help. And MLC Consulting and Mending Life Concepts, that's our nonprofit, willing to help. I think Sonny and Jazz have my information that they can give it at the end of the cast. People can feel free to call me or contact me via
Margaret, go ahead and give your contact information.
So
go ahead,
my contact information is 470-464-0090.
I'm still on the show.
And my email address is long, but I'm going to give it. It's info@mlcconsultingllc.com.
Those are only two pieces of tissue.
And that is info@mlcconsulting.com. All right, so thank you guys for this opportunity. And I just pray that we have, we begin healing. And I pray that for Jesse, his family, whether his, blood family or the Empire family, and for the musical community, and that we just stand in solidarity as a community of people that are hurting so we can move forward.
Thank you so much, Margaret. We really
Thank
appreciate you coming on Louddmouth Radio, and we will see you soon. Everybody, please take an opportunity to follow Margaret. We will post her information so you're able to get in touch with her, because for me, I am an advocacy of therapy. I believe in it. I know it to have saved my life on so many occasions when it just felt like this is too much going on in the world. So definitely reach out, because we all have some hurt, somewhere, and we all need to deal with that in order for us to live and function effectively. So Margaret Conley, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful and amazing day.
And well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Margaret. I know you had.
I think
let's talk the Renaissance Festival.
Yes, I want to take a quick break from the heavy, and we want to go to the turkey leg. The Renaissance Festival in the Tampa Bay area. Sterling is our connect for our sponsorship for that, and if you will take over that part of the conversation, we will come back with some more breaking news. Go ahead, Sterling. It's on to you.
Well, I think she was on the air, but we lost her in the sense that we stayed on topic for a good while. Is that Marie that won last week's tickets had gone, and they had a great time. The festival is open. It now continues between now and the end of March 31st, I believe it's the last day, if I look at the tickets. And we have tickets, I don't know. Are we going to run a question this week, or what are we going to do, kids? What do you want to do?
That was supposed to be what we did. What was the question? What question do we want to pose for the next giveaway?
I thought we would tie it in to Jazzie, and I've got two. We'll take either. If somebody can remember when Jazzie was a young actor, what was the major film he made. There was a young film that he made that has become like a cult film. Or what is his right now where they talk about Jazzie, needing like more money and that stuff. He's starring in also a second show on TV. So if they'll give us either one of those names, if they call in and give us either one of those, they get the ticket. Because we've got one at the beginning of his career. So if you know the beginning of his career, famous film, and the other one is TV show that he's on right now. What's the name of that series? And then they get tickets to the Renaissance Festival.
Is that for 2 tickets, Sterling?
It's I'll give 2 to 4. It depends on what the person needs. If the person has a family and they need a couple extra tickets, Jazzie, we're happy to accommodate that. The Renaissance Festival is so good. It's so good with us. You and I both know that we have the tickets, that we are happy. So dial in, hit the 1, and Sonny will bring you on, and we want to talk to you if you have that answer. If you have that answer.
So the phone number to dial in to win those tickets to the Renaissance Festival in the Tampa Bay area. And then you say, where's it going to be this year, Sterling, the Renaissance Festival? The village is still set up at Mosey, across from the university over in Tampa. I already did media day. Marie and Sherry, they brought me back a turkey leg, which was the sweetest to be. Even though, now I will tell you that Marie's girlfriend took a bite out of the turkey leg on the way home. She couldn't resist the turkey leg sitting there in front of her. And Miko doesn't know. Miko doesn't know how crazy I am about turkey legs. I don't think he knows. The turkey legs, Miko, are big as a dinosaur, I swear. But they are so good, and the Renaissance Festival is absolutely amazing in the Tampa Bay area. And mind you, if you are not in Tampa Bay but you're willing to take a trip, it's worth taking some time off or just having a weekend experience. It's only 7 hours from Atlanta. It's not, but it's a wonderful experience to go, if you're coming from Atlanta or from somewhere else and you want to fly in, drive in. We travel, so it's not too many places that are too far unless it's like a 20-hour trip for us. But it's worth going to just go and let your hair down and get into character. Everybody there is in character. So you're going to hear language. You're going to see mannerisms and festive costumes. The year that I went, I was what did I say I was? A minister witch.
A bar witch? Was you a bar witch?
No, I wanted to be, still very close to God, but I wanted to dress in a witch costume. And so, there you go. I had the best of both worlds at the Renaissance Festival. You can't do that everywhere, but even though some people go to church and they're
it's like Dragon Con in Atlanta.
Hiding.
It's like a big deal like Dragon Con in Atlanta.
Let me tell you, everything from steampunk fans to Game of Thrones fans to DragonCon fans, the Renaissance Festival has that. I mean, there are all kinds of different tents. There's comedy acts. There's jugglers. There's the knights on the horses. There's the human chess game. It is just a day. I mean, Marie and they went for 2 days. They went both Friday and they went Saturday and Sunday so that they could take the whole thing in because it is that much of. I mean, it's 20-some acres. It's not
it was
just
so
little.
much fun.
I mean, you're immersed in it. I mean, I think Jazzie will tell you you're immersed in it.
You really are.
You can get
lost. Again, the number is 347-826-7520. If you want to share that number, so that you can answer that question, the questions that Sterling posed. What was Jazzie's first film, and then what is his second?
First major film he started.
First major film.
Yeah, what
was
his first
second?
First big film. And
then
that is
the
his
second one
series that he's in right now. It's a spinoff. He basically plays the same character that he plays in Empire. That's why again, Miko, I have to stand by him right now because I still think it's a public lynching, only because it just does not make sense. Here he is in 2 series from Empire, and I just think it's easy to attack a celebrity and say that they want more money or they need more attention. That's a very easy thing because, you know, in celebrity, everybody thinks it's about their attention and their ego. So that's a very easy attack to me. I think that's a very easy attack. But this man's on 2 shows. He's got his career, whether his singing career is up or down. He has a singing career. He tours with that. He has his charities. I have to stand by him until they, like the producer said, I will try to trust the justice system and see what comes out of this because I want to stand behind him. He's had a long career. When I'm talking about this first film, he was a child. He's a child star that has had a good 20-year career. And I just can't imagine, like Miko said, it's not part of his character. I just can't see him throwing that away. I can see outside forces attacking him to get him out of the arena as we're approaching 2020 in the election season. I can see outside forces trying to take him out as a voice against Make America Great Again. I can see that, but I can't see the man throwing his career away when he's got a 20-year career. I can't see that.
Absolutely.
That's something that's a little hard for me to buy. That's an apple that I can't take the bite out of.
Absolutely, sir. And I'm in complete consciousness with you about that because that's my whole point as well. I think, once again, not just due to the fact that I've experienced Jazzie in person more than once, looking at his whole career, and like I said, we've been supporting him when he was an underground independent LGBT artist. When he was an independent artist and started it before he got his big break with Empire, with 20th Century Fox. And it's like, and Lee Daniels, it's like, when I look at everything that's going on, I'm like, he had plenty of time to do stuff like this if he wanted to orchestrate something like this. He had plenty of time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Why would he? Why now? You know what I'm saying? And then plus, on top of that, he had other projects and stuff in the works, as well, just like, his other counterparts, that work on Empire. They are working on other projects simultaneously while they still work on Empire. So his career was not going to be affected at all, even if he was no longer going to be on Empire anymore. So that's what I'm saying. When I look at this whole scenario, it's like knowing his character, knowing his integrity, and the integrity that he has portrayed over numerous of years, I'm like, this whole situation doesn't fit the character and the integrity of who Jazzie is. So, not saying that he's perfect.
I
agree. We all are human.
agree with you. I can't. It just does not make sense. But it makes, and I think you'll agree with me. It makes sense for forces that don't want those voices out there attacking. Look at how the Trump supporters and people that are on that other side, and we'll say they. We'll use that big word, they. Look at how they are attacking, like Elizabeth Warren. Look at how they attack, Dustin Hoffman for his comments. Look at how they attack anybody that says Michael Moore, anybody that comes out, with comments they've gone after and tried to discredit them.
Absolutely, and the first thing, going back, like I said earlier, the first thing that really got me was the minute this situation broke out, all of the so-called protests, all of the hate mongers, all of the MAGA supporters, everybody, it's like immediately they had a field day in creating funny memes about Jazzie. They had a field day in just ravaging his character and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow. And so it's like, like I said, I pay attention to the things beyond what the general public sees. Because like I said, you try the spirit by the spirit, because I'm a person, I'm a person of omniversal spiritual consciousness. And, Jazzie and Sonny, we talk about this all the time. And it's like, that's one of the things that, I'm grateful that I can see beyond what the general public sees. And to also piggyback with what Jazzie said, you and Sonny said earlier about us being in the media, one of the things about those of us who are in media who are very passionate about our brands, one of the biggest challenges that we've had to face as independent media outlets is that because of the other bloggers and the other folks that are out there in the media that create all this sensationalism, and they're just trying to get, create all this other drama and stuff like that just to get ratings and stuff for their show, we've had to overcome a lot of the naysayers that wanted to look at us like we wasn't real media, but we had to show and prove that we were. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why we do our research and our homework before we actually put something out on our show.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And retract.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
We're not in order.
Absolutely.
We'll retract something. Well, if we find out information that was not correct, and I've heard you say it, Miko, and I know we've said it. We have this platform where we're able to speak about things that other radio stations, are not able to do because they're censored. We're grateful that we talk about the things that are important to us, but we bring information that we feel like people want to know. And as we're getting that information, even sometimes our information is, as you even said today, from CNN and other different areas, we go to those places to get information, and we also get information. But if we're wrong or we find out that it wasn't true, baby, we will retract that thing so quick. We don't keep fake news.
Baby, you so weird. You better talk.
No, we don't do that because it's important. We use our platform as not only entertainment and news, but this is a ministry for us. We're giving a platform to people oftentimes who have a voice that is never heard. And so we use these platforms that we have. We use our stardom, if you will, or our personalities, if you will, as a platform for people to not only hear but also to be able to speak. So it is crucial that we stay as neutral as possible. It doesn't mean that we don't stay passionate, because if we don't agree, it does not mean that we don't like each other or we're not going to speak. It just means, hey, this is my point of view about it, but I'm going to still bring that, I'm going to bring that to the listeners so that the listeners have the opportunity to have a voice and to have a consciousness about what's happening in our world, in our local, in our global community. And on that note, I want to say this. We're going to switch topics real quick because we just got a breaking news that we have to talk about.
Okay.
The New England Patriots owner has just been arrested for a sexual
Robert Kraft.
There you go.
Who?
Just been arrested in Florida. The New England
Robert
Patriots
Kraft, Miko.
owner. Robert Kraft has just been arrested for a string of prostitution charges in Florida. Yeah, there you go.
This is part of the interesting thing is that this is where, and where I think it's interesting, Robert Kraft has had the New England Patriots for years. So where we talk about business people, and I think he's a top supporter. Well, on that note, while you, Jazzie, take it while I look that up.
Supporter. He's a huge Trump supporter, like ginormous. Like they are buddies. Yeah. So it shows your character. It shows your character, right? It shows what. So when we're talking about Jesse being, quote unquote, those that are saying he's a liar, he's done this, and granted, once again, if he is proven guilty, nobody is protecting his guilt. It does not mean we will not support him in who he is and continue to pray for him and ask and support him to getting help. But what we are saying is equality is equality. If you're going to come out and persecute him right here where he is, There is so many people, including the person who is sitting in the White House, that lies daily, constantly, every single day, all day, and there is no condemnation. There's talk, but there's no condemnation as it is being given to one person. So what we're saying is, and the reason why we're breaking this news, one, is newsworthy to know, and as I stated at the beginning of the show, I am a huge advocate for the eradication of sex trafficking and human trafficking, prostitution, and all of the things that bring the demise of our young girls and our young women and even our young boys. And for them to be protected, we have to bring down the mighty, the Trumps, the supporters, the Robert Krafts, the people in the entertainment industry, and so forth and so on, the businessmen, the preachers, the priests. And so this is a big deal right now because, one, when these things usually come into our breaking news, how long does that breaking news last? Because it goes so quick. It's spoken, then it's brushed over, and then nothing else is said about it. So we find in our system what is important is not life. Life is not important. Our children are not important. When you have these people that are in these high positions, and especially surrounding the Super Bowls and the NFL, sex trafficking and prostitution is so. It's like throwing the football. It's like the ball itself. It's equally as rampant as throwing the football. And here is this man positioned, running this ring as if it's just like, hey, I own a couple barbecue joints.
Well, and this is a billionaire. This is a fellow billionaire, and Jazzie, let's make it clear what he's being arrested for is that he's soliciting another to commit prostitution as human trafficking. I wanted to make sure because you're talking about the human trafficking. Part of the charge is involved human trafficking. Is that it is part that it's not just strictly prostitution. It is a human trafficking prostitution suite, and he's being charged with that. And Jupiter,
somebody, I don't know who's making just a little bit, doing something in the background, but we're getting a lot of feedback over here, so if we can make sure to be cautious about that. But go ahead, Sterling. It's in Jupiter, Florida.
And this is a human trafficking sweep by the police officers there. And in that, Robert Kraft is being charged with it, with being soliciting another to do that and being maybe behind it. So it will be very interesting to watch. Again, let's stand behind the justice system, see what happens, see how he's treated. But that's breaking news involving one of America's, he's worth $6.6 billion, and the New England Patriots, and as with the Super Bowl.
Wow. I can honestly say, anytime a sex thing happens, and they bring in anybody that is involved in the enslavement of young girls and women, primarily. And again, boys too. We don't want to leave out the abuse that happens to males as well. But I am always ecstatic. I can just say that I get a little ahead of the game on that, and I must admit it, because when you're working with organizations, one myself from Words to Action Outreach Ministries, one of our huge drives is to eradicate the enslavement of girls and women and boys in sex trafficking. And so when I see this happen, I'm excited, because these are the type of men, and Sterling, we say it all the time because we talk truth on this show to the best of our understanding of what that truth is. And these older white males feel like they are entitled and empowered to absolutely anything. We say it on this show. Mind you, this show is a diverse show. We have female, male, black, white, and all of our backgrounds and all of our cultures are different. But the deal is you
Mhm.
talk truth. We don't talk, hatred because, you're this and I'm this. We just talk facts, right? But the majority
it's not
of
even
the
hatred, Jazzie. We're not saying this in a hate. We're bringing that, like you said, a fact. A fact is that we know. You and I both know, and I'm sure Miko will agree, is that we know that we live in a society where the entitled white male dominates our society.
Right.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's the same thing even when you look at the LGBTQ community. When you look at mainstream LGBT, it's mostly white, gay male dominated. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil.
Well, the funny thing is that we talked about this last week. We actually talked about this. I have a friend that has a new friend, and recently I got offended by something the new friend said, and it was that. I mean, he's a white male, and I thought what he said showed his latent racism or the entitled white male. And it was interesting, and he denies it completely. Now, let me ask you this. Does people change once you expose them to the fact that they are? Because he's very apologetic. I have not accepted the apology yet. I have not. I said that I'm afraid that I'll blow up about this, because I get so passionate.
You know what?
The girls know this.
I think it's this. I think I'm so grateful, and we all have faith on this show today. So I can say I am so grateful for faith that has allowed me to believe in something higher than myself, and that's something for me. I call God. We call him Big G, and though we don't recognize spirit as a denomination, it's no male or female, but I'm so grateful that I am not the Jazzie of 20 years ago. I'm so very grateful I'm not the Jazzie of last year. I'm so honestly excited that I read something last night, and this morning my consciousness was already stuck changed. A way I was thinking and something I was doing from last night. So I'm saying that to say that there is a level of grace and there's a level of mercy that if we recognize, if we become conscious about a thing, my ex said, when you know better, you do better. I cannot do a better thing if I don't know to do a better thing. I can't. It's no way possible. It's just no way possible. And we talked about this too last week, Charlotte. I have come into an understanding of a consciousness of entitlement and a non-consciousness. Okay? I wake up every day. I'll repeat this again. I wake up every day as a black woman, according to society's definement of me. I'm a black woman, okay? I never really thought I was black because I'm looking in the Crayola box, and it's a lot darker than me, but let's just go for what society says. Now, as a black woman in society, I am made aware of my blackness. I'm made aware of it because of how I am treated. I'm not made aware of it because I'm aware of it, but because of how I'm treated and the experience of me in this blackness and me in this female body. Once again, I'm made aware that I'm a female because of how I am treated and or mistreated, right? That means I am consciously walking around saying I'm a black woman that normally because of experience am abused, I am mistreated, I am discriminated against, I am black, so that falls into the same category. And then I happen to be in the same gender-loving relationship, so here I am discriminated against for that. Those are the negative connotations of my blackness to society, and that has made me conscious about it, right? When I am in Hawaii or in other places, I'm not conscious necessarily of my blackness because I am accepted as this beautiful, wonderful creation, and the whole aloha spirit embraces me to just be me. I don't wake up when I'm in Maui. I don't drive down the street when I happen to see a police light, because they're so rare, I don't automatically go, oh, they're coming for me, right? I don't have to be conscious of my blackness in a negative way, or my entitlement of abuse, my entitlement of negativity. Having said that, if I was a white person and I'm unconscious, I wake up every day just being Maggie. Okay? I'm Maggie. I'm going to brunch this morning. I'm going, I'm going to get my puppy toes done, and with my toes done, I'm living my life. I don't have a clue about my entitlement, because why? I'm not walking with the experience of a negative entitlement or a entitlement of looking down at you. If I'm conscious of white privilege, if I'm conscious, Maggie, my white privilege then gives the image that I'm better than you because I am white. I'm better than you because I'm economically more rich than you. Or in some cases, some people that are not as rich as me, and they still have this white privilege because they've been taught that their whiteness makes them right. That's consciousness of my white privilege in a negative way. Once something negative happens to the unconscious Maggie, who walks around and just living her life, she's made aware, like Sterling, just like you gave the example. If all of us go out, me, you, and Miko go out today, the initial look of you is going to get a white privilege test. It's going to happen. It's going to happen simply because of the complexion of your skin, and society has deemed you're better than us simply because of the color of your skin. But the minute you open your mouth, you go right back into another discrimination group. It's the LGBT group. So now here we are on the same
Jazzie, here's the interesting thing. If we walked into a restaurant, I would say that if the host is white. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Are you there? Okay. If the host behind the stand at the front of the restaurant is white, they will most likely talk to me. If the four of us approach the counter or the restaurant, I would almost bet that they would look at me in the eyes and talk to me. And say, happy in your party or whatever they would say. Now, the minute that my voice comes out, Mika, with my affliction, and like also if my walk showed up, is that if it's a male and a straight male standing behind that host stand, things changed again.
That's right.
And then then there becomes another lump. Now, and it's just those are where we were talking about that each one of us bring a different baggage. I mean, I hate to call my voice and my swish.
It's not baggage. Each one of us deals with our different truth. That's your truth. You can't do anything about your voice, Sterling, because somebody else deems it baggage or deems it wrong.
I made a living. I mean, you know that I made a living. I made a living with my voice just because I sound like and I love it. But I'm glad that I sound like an old Jewish woman. I love old Jewish women. And Mom, how are you? What are we doing today? When are we going to the market? You know.
But so call it your truth because it's not baggage. It's not baggage to us. Yeah. People want to make our differences be baggage or something wrong. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It is the mental illness of white privilege consciousness. Yeah.
The only person, this is where I said, the only person that does not realize 90% of the time, the only person that doesn't realize they have white privilege is the white privileged person. And they know it because they're privileged. I mean, it's one of the things that really hurt me recently, and this is kind of off topic again, but we're going to, real quickly, we'll hit upon it. When that young boy stared down the American Indian in front of the Capitol, I think that was such a defining moment in America today. And the fact that immediately who stood behind him. The forces that came behind each of those, the American Indian hitting the drum and the young student staring down, and it was a photograph and some video that we were only, again, it was media, it was social media, it was social media hype. Was again, it was one way to talk about it, and the fact that the school and the parents immediately got a marketing firm to help with it.
And
where do we need a marketing firm? Huh?
You know that young boy is suing Washington. He's suing the Washington Post for $250 million. They just posted it, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, you're making tons of money off of it. No.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And the fact that but that shows me about the privilege is that, and they immediately jump behind it.
Right. Right.
And support. If that had been, let's take this. If that had been a young black doing the same treatment of the American Indian, would it have the impact that it had on the white privileged society that we live in? Would it have made the news? I don't even think we would have seen it.
You wouldn't have.
That's where, so often we don't realize that it's just there. And that's where I said I have not accepted this part. My issue, and I think Jazzie answered it, so I need to be a little more open and a little more compassionate. So you're saying that I need to open.
And a little compassionate, but
right.
Wait a minute.
Only because I love you, Miss Jazzie.
But with caution,
only because I love you. I'm so cautious of this.
You have to be open and compassionate with caution, because I'm sorry comes with changed behavior. It doesn't come with I'm sorry. It comes with I'm sorry and changed behavior. So I'm willing to be open to watch your changed behavior, because now that you know better, you must do better, because if you don't, we don't need to be in association. It's just that simple.
Absolutely.
It's just that simple. I can't say I'm sorry, Miko. I'm sorry, Miko. I ain't called you in a long time. I'm going to do better. And then Miko don't hear from me for 70 years. No, I wasn't sorry. It has to be a change.
It's just like we said, that at the end of the day here, what Miko had said, at the end of the day, when what we were talking about, Jazzie, is the damage is going to be gone. It's already been done. His career will never be, his reputation. Now, there's nothing America loves more than for a celebrity to fall off the pedestal and for us to put them back up there. We love that. We love the fallen star that we can put back up there. That's something, Robert Downey Jr., Judy Garland.
Yes.
We love that. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. We love for them to fall down, get back up, fall down and get back up. So, can he come back from this? Yeah, because we love that. We love that. But again, in the age of celebrity, but it will. But every time, and you know that, every time they mention that man, the rest of his life, this will be brought up. This will be brought up.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I love the way that you said that, because of what's going to determine how he gets back up is what Jazzie touched upon. We need to make sure that we are there to support him, regardless of what the outcome is. We need to make sure that he knows that.
There's gonna be some fallout.
We need to make sure that he knows. But like I said, that the damage is already done. The minute the incident happened, the damage started then. It was a domino effect then, and because I'm like, this boy just had a layover at the airport before he even landed in Chicago. He was coming from another gig. He had a layover and a long layover, and so of course he's not going to be expecting to go to Chicago, where they're going to be doing filming. Which now they say that's the thing that I didn't know. But they said that he had to get back to the Chicago set. I'm thinking that he had to get back on the plane to go to L.A. or something like that, or to New York. Come to find out, the reason why he was in Chicago, I'm thinking that he lives in Chicago, but the reason why he was in Chicago is because they filmed in Chicago. That I didn't even know.
No. They were, and that's what I said yesterday. From what I understand, They said that he turned himself in, they did all the processing, they had the press conference, and then he showed back up on the Empire set. And that's where I said, somewhere I read that. And so that, which showed me, even though today's announcement says that they're going to write it down, his part, which that doesn't totally mean that they're not, like even their statement, they're getting ready for his trial, the aftermath. Like Magaret said, there's going to be an aftermath, and you've got, when you're doing a major TV show,
there's going to be a
Empire,
fallout. Right.
You've got 200 or 300. You've got 200 or 300 employees in that production company. So you've got, it's not only about Jazzie, it's about those 200 families affected by the production money that comes into a major show, especially after 5 seasons. After 5 seasons, there's some major money being spent on that show.
It sure is. And there's the money being made.
And made. And I would love, I haven't seen it. Has anybody seen what he makes an episode? Has that come out?
Somebody posted saying, they said that he makes at least up to $125,000 per episode.
Per episode,
okay.
Right.
And so my thing is that once again, he's not hurting for money.
He easily makes $1 billion a year. So if there's 10 or 12 episodes or 20, he's easily in the $1 million range. And then if he's making that from the other show, then if he's making even half of that, let's say he's making $50,000 or $60,000 on the second series, I mean, he's making another $500,000 there, and then he has his record and everything else that goes with it, and talks and you don't only make. I mean, I can tell you that as a person. The things that I can make around my main job are just as much as the job itself. My making appearances, my making appearances, my doing hosting. If I'm doing my artwork, the fact that it pushes my artwork up, all of those contribute to what my celebrity helps my income. So we know that I still, like I said, I don't buy it. I don't buy that he just wanted more money.
All right, y'all.
Yep.
It's hard for me to buy that.
I know. We guys, let me tell you something. Miko, thank you so much for coming on today. You've been an integral part of this broadcast today.
This was a wonderful,
Miko,
what I call a media family reunion. I love this. So thank y'all so much for inviting me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you for coming.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Great, very good conversation today.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. We have made our statements and our stances, and I thank everybody that's been a part of the conversation and called in, listening in, those who are going to listen to the show after the fact. Know that our broadcast is available for download as well as streaming on hundreds of apps, TuneIn, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, you name it. We're there, Louddmouth Radio Network. And we invite you to be a part of the conversation online. Follow us on Louddmouth Radio. And we look forward to bringing you more content, more shows. And thank you again for listening to us. And everyone, have a blessed Friday.
You're listening to the Louddmouth Radio Network. You're listening to the Louddmouth Radio Network.